Let's get started with our first news, and it's a heated one. UFC President Dana White is calling out Jon Jones and says he is not telling the truth. This all stems from recent claims made by Jon on social media, where he stated that he had already informed the UFC months ago about his retirement from the sport. If you have been following Jon Jones's career, you know it has been filled with drama both inside and outside the octagon. So when he suddenly dropped a post suggesting that he had quietly stepped away from fighting and had let the UFC know long ago, fans were naturally skeptical. On X, formerly known as Twitter, Jon wrote, "If the fight was done, trust me, I would be fighting. Did we start negotiating at one point? Yes, but it was never done. My job at the time was to sit back and be quiet about it, and that is exactly what I did. I was enjoying my life. That should have been obvious to you guys." In typical Jon Jones fashion, he made it sound like he was just keeping things low-key, enjoying life and letting the process play out behind the scenes. But Dana White was quick to respond and did not mince words. At the UFC 317 post-fight press conference, Dana addressed Jon's post and said bluntly, "That is not true. I am telling you the truth. Believe who you want to believe." That is a pretty serious accusation from the UFC boss himself. Dana is essentially saying that Jon Jones is lying, or at the very least misrepresenting what actually happened in the world of MMA, where negotiations, timing, and public image matter a lot. This back and forth is more than just a disagreement. It speaks to ongoing tension between one of the UFC's biggest stars and its most powerful figure. It also raises a lot of questions. Did Jon really inform the UFC he was done, or is he trying to gain some narrative control after being inactive for so long? Is there more going on behind closed doors than the public knows? For fans, this just adds another chapter to the already complicated legacy of Jon Jones, a fighter many consider one of the greatest of all time, but whose career has been shadowed by controversy, delays, and now conflicting statements. One thing is for sure, this story is far from over. Now let's move on to the second news. Conor McGregor reacts to Ilia Topuria. Conor gave his thoughts after Ilia defeated Charles Oliveira to become the new lightweight champion. What surprised people even more is that Conor pointed out Ilia used one of his own lines. In the post-fight moment, Ilia said something along the lines of, "I can rest my balls on your forehead," which is a phrase fans of Conor might remember well. On X, Conor wrote, "Congrats on winning my old titles, Ilia." He continued, he said he is going to rest his balls on Paddy's head too. Fair play, good. Lightweight scrap, that one is as well. In my opinion, UFC is back. We are still missing something, though 3 KOs back-to-back is very good. No one can deny the knockouts I like. Unlucky to Charles. Also, styles make fights. You are a tremendous and legendary UFC fighter. Rest up. This response caught many fans off guard, especially because Conor had some pretty aggressive words for Ilia in the past. During a previous live stream, Conor had this to say when asked how he would beat Ilia Aboro too. "I would grab him by the scruff of the chest and slap that little nose off him. Yeah, little ding-dong the thing he is. I am Spanish. I am in Marba, bro. Yeah, I am in Marbella at the bare knuckle. Stall, and let us see what is what. We will bounce in the yoke. Have a bare knuckle, you little fool. I will cave your head in, you little short tip. I will box your jaw in on sight. I am in Marbella, Spain. Yeah, I am in Marbella, Spain, October 12th at the bare knuckle stall, bro. Yeah, see what happens here. See what happens here when you cross me, bro, or you come across me." Wild stuff, but let us keep moving. Coach Javier Mendez, a name respected throughout MMA, recently weighed in on what could become one of the most exciting potential matchups in the lightweight division, Ilia Topuria versus Arman Tsarukyan, speaking to Submission Radio. Shortly after UFC 317 wrapped up, Mendez did not hesitate to share his views. According to him, if there is one man who has the right tools to give Ilia a serious challenge, it is Arman Tsarukyan, despite other names being tossed around like Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. Mendez made it very clear in his eyes only Arman truly possesses the skill sets and style necessary to test Topuria. When asked to break it down, he explained that while others might bring exciting fights, Arman is the one with the tactical ability and fight IQ to potentially disrupt Ilia's momentum. Arman Tsarukyan would be the one that, in my opinion, might give him the most problems, Mendes said, because Arman is not going to stand and trade with him. He is going to turn it into a grappling war. That is where things get interesting. It is going to be a war of nutrition, a battle of who can impose their will, who can break the other mentally and physically. He continued, "You have got to ask, can I survive the continuous ground attack that Arman is going to bring? That would be the test. That is the question everyone wants answered. And to be fair, maybe he cannot. I mean, look at what he did to Charles. Charles came in for the takedown, and Ilia switched it on him mid-air. That was very impressive, man. That showed me that Ilia is not just a striker, he is evolving, but still Arman is different." Mendes's breakdown makes a lot of sense when you analyze the fighting styles. While Topuria is known for his devastating striking and power, Arman Tsarukyan is a cardio machine with elite wrestling, someone who thrives in the grind. A matchup between the two would not just be a fight, it would be a chess match at the highest level. Can Arman weather the early storm and drag Ilia into deep waters, or will Ilia find that one clean shot that ends it all before the wrestling can even start? It is a fascinating stylistic clash that has fans buzzing, and with Mendes backing Arman as the biggest threat, this fight might be closer to happening than we think. Now on to another headline. Sean O'Malley's live reaction to Ilia Topuria's knockout of Charles Oliveira, and it was nothing short of explosive. O'Malley was watching the fight closely and, as expected, had a strong reaction. When Topuria landed that brutal finishing sequence, he did not hold back in his response, openly admitting that he was lucky Ilia did not accept his call out after the Chito Vera fight. He started off by exclaiming, "Oh holy!" Clearly stunned by the knockout, O'Malley continued, "Islam versus Topuria needs to happen. No, oh no, after I beat Chito, I called out Ilia and he got scared and ran to 155. No, I am just kidding. Thank God the UFC did not make that fight." That moment of honesty quickly turned into admiration. He is up there with John Jones, Sean said, referring to Ilia's rapidly rising status in the sport. Knocked out Max, knocked out Charles. Yeah. I mean, the fight did not play out too long. I was hoping we would see some sick scrambles, but Ilia is just that good. Landed a clean right hand, knocked him out. Left hook just made it worse. Ali then shifted the conversation toward matchmaking, voicing his opinion loud and clear. Ilia versus Paddy is the fight to make. That is the fight to make. Simple as that. Ilia versus Paddy 100%. That is the next fight. He continued with even more excitement, adding, if it is not going to be Ilia versus Islam, then some shit might pop off right here. Paddy is in the cage with Ilia. This is going to be a fantastic press conference, fantastic build-up, and a pretty epic fight. Then in classic Ali style, he repeated his point with full intensity. Holy, that is the fight to make. I completely forgot about Paddy. Oh, that is the fight to make. Ilia versus Paddy. I am excited. Let us make it happen. I am going to call Dana and see what we can do. Whether or not Dana White listens, one thing is clear. Ali's reaction reflects what a lot of fans are thinking. The hype around Ilia Topuria is real, and if he does end up sharing the cage with Paddy Pimblett or even Islam Makhachev, we are in for a showdown. Next up, John Jones reacts to Tom Aspinall's speed comments. And if you thought the drama between John and Aspinall was done and dusted, now that John is supposedly retired, well, think again. Even though both John Jones and the UFC have publicly confirmed that he has hung up the gloves, Tom Aspinall still seems to have something to say. This week, Aspinall traveled to Las Vegas to meet with UFC executives, possibly to discuss his future, his title defenses, or maybe even the idea of an undisputed title bout. While in Nevada, he also made time to sit down with Ariel Helwani, and of course when you put Aspinall and Helwani in the same room, you already know what topic had to come up. Is John Jones still the GOAT? During their conversation, both Ariel and Aspinall came to the same conclusion. They agreed that Jon Jones's past failed drug tests disqualify him from being considered the greatest of all time. That was already a bold statement, but Aspinall wasn't done there. He took things even further by talking about PED users in general, delivering a passionate and intense take. He said, "If you're a sprinter, for example, and you run 100 meters and you take PEDs and win the race, you become faster than people who are not taking PEDs. That's okay, you're a cheat. You've won, they'll take your title off you or whatever. But if your job is to hurt another person, physically hurt another person, which could potentially redirect the rest of their life post-fighting, then you're an absolute piece of SH, and you should never be allowed to fight again." He didn't stop there. "If you have any pet stuff, it's like taking a gun to a knife fight. You know what I mean? It's like bringing a knife to a bare-knuckle fight. How can you look yourself in the mirror when you know you're cheating and you could damage the other person for life? It's disgusting." As expected, it didn't take Jon Jones long to fire back. Taken to social media, Jon posted a brief but sharp response: "You silly goose, I never took the evidence is all there, hence why I was able to fight again. The rules have been changed for everyone across all sports. Call me the game changer." Now just to clarify, yes, in 2014 Jon Jones was flagged for the banned substance Turinabol, and his win over Daniel Cormier was overturned. That much is fact, but Jon and his team have always stood firm on their claim that he never knowingly took any illegal substances. They've argued it was either contamination or mislabeling. Regardless, Jon's legacy continues to be debated. So what do you think about Aspinall's explosive comments? Should Jon Jones be removed from the GOAT discussion because of his USATA history? Or does his dominance inside the cage outweigh the controversies? And if not, Jon, then who truly deserves the title of the greatest of all time? Let's now move on to our final story. Ilia Topuria sends a warning to a scared Arman Tsarukyan after UFC 317 tensions in the lightweight division reached new heights, and Topuria made sure to add fuel to the fire. According to Ilia, Arman Tsarukyan is hesitant and afraid to face him after witnessing his dominant performance against Charles Oliveira. Arman was sitting ringside during that fight, and shortly after the event, new footage emerged online, showing Arman's live reaction to the devastating knockout delivered by Topuria. And let us just say, Topuria saw something in that reaction that he did not like. During his post-fight interview with Carlos contra Lugosi, Ilia did not mince words. He claimed Arman looked scared after witnessing the knockout and strongly implied that Arman is not only hesitant, but reluctant.
If you enjoy our videos, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it.